Let me ask you a question honestly. Do you ever find yourself clearing your throat 10, 20, or even 50 times before noon? You swallow, you cough, you take a sip of warm water, and it works for about 30 seconds. Then that thick, sticky sensation comes right back. It's worse in the morning, and it's worse when your head hits the pillow at night, and nothing you eat or drink seems to fix it. Not honey, not lemon, not tea. But here's what no one tells you. For the vast majority of patients over 55 dealing with this exact issue, the throat isn't the source. Something else is happening elsewhere in your body that's triggering all this mucus. And most people, even many healthcare professionals, don't identify it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's causing it, the 4 research-backed reasons behind it, and a clear plan you can start tonight. But first, you need to understand the hidden cause responsible for most cases, and it happens while you sleep. I'm Dr. Adam Say. I'm a senior health specialist with 13 years of clinical experience working with patients over 60. In 13 years, I've seen this specific complaint brushed off time and time again with a simple shrug. Today, I'm not going to give you generic advice. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'd tell my own mother if she were sitting in front of me right now. The real causes and the real solutions that work. Before I name the 4 causes, I need to reframe something important. Most people have a misunderstanding about mucus itself, and this misconception is what keeps the problem from ever being solved. Mucus is not your enemy. Your body produces it every day for excellent reasons. It's the first line of defense for your respiratory system. It traps dust, bacteria, viruses, and tiny airborne particles before they reach your lungs. It keeps the delicate tissues lining your airways supple and protected. The problem isn't the mucus itself. The problem starts when this mucus, which is normally fluid and easy to clear, becomes thick, sticky, and slow. Instead of moving naturally through your airways, it pools at the back of your throat. Here's something most older adults have never had explained clearly. Research has confirmed that mucociliary clearance, the medical term for your body's natural conveyor belt that sweeps mucus upward and out of your airways, measurably slows with age. The tiny hair-like structures lining your airways, called cilia, beat more slowly and weakly as you get older. Studies show that the transit time of nasal mucus increases significantly after 60. In other words, mucus that would have cleared in minutes at 40 can linger for hours at 65 or 70. That's why anything that triggers extra mucus production hits older adults harder and lasts longer. And this is where it gets interesting. Each of the 4 causes I'm about to share gains power with age. 1. Silent reflux, the hidden cause that strikes while you sleep. The first cause is the one I want you to pay the most attention to. It's called laryngopharyngeal reflux, LPR. Most people have never heard this term, so let me explain it simply. This single condition is the most commonly missed reason for chronic throat mucus in adults over 55. You know what classic acid reflux feels like, that burning sensation in your chest after a heavy meal. Heartburn is the loud, obvious version. But there's a quieter version, one with no chest burning at all. A version that can go unnoticed for months or even years. It's called silent reflux, or LPR for short. Here's what happens. There's a small muscular valve at the bottom of your esophagus, the tube connecting your mouth to your stomach. This valve is supposed to seal tightly after eating, but with age, it weakens. Stomach acid no longer just rises to the lower esophagus. It travels all the way up, past the chest, into the throat, and sometimes even higher. And here's the key point. Your throat and vocal cords are far more sensitive to acid than your esophagus. Even microscopic droplets of acid reaching the throat cause significant irritation. Your body's response? Produce more mucus to coat and protect the tissues. It's perfectly logical biology. But night after night, while you sleep unsuspectingly, this response keeps triggering. Here's the detail that makes this problem so easy to miss. Research shows that up to 50% of people with LPR have no heartburn, no chest burning, no obvious digestive symptoms, just chronic throat clearing, a slightly hoarse voice, especially in the morning, and that stubborn mucus. Data from the Cleveland Clinic indicates that about 10% of adults suffer from LPR, and more than half of people who see a throat specialist for chronic hoarseness actually have it. Ask yourself honestly, Is your throat worse in the morning than the rest of the day? Do you notice more throat clearing when you bend forward or lie down? Is your voice hoarse when you wake up? These patterns matter. Important note: if you regularly take anti-inflammatory medications for arthritis or joint pain, research shows this class of drugs is associated with worsening reflux. The mechanism involves a reduction in prostaglandins, protective substances that normally defend your stomach lining. Now, I need to be absolutely clear. I'm not telling you to stop any medication. Never change anything on your own. But this is a conversation worth having with your doctor. 2. Postnasal drip from chronic, subtle sinus inflammation. The second cause surprises many people because it doesn't show up the way they expect. When most people imagine a sinus problem, they think of pounding headaches, intense facial pressure, or completely blocked breathing. Yes, that's one form. But in many adults over 55, chronic sinus inflammation is much subtler. There's no dramatic headache, and breathing seems mostly normal. Yet your slightly inflamed sinuses continuously produce a small trickle of extra mucus that slowly and silently drains into the back of your throat. This is called postnasal drip. A 2024 study of patients with chronic postnasal drip found that the average age of patients was 55, confirming this is indeed a problem for those over 55. Throat discomfort was the most reported symptom, present in nearly 74% of patients. Here's the pattern. You go to bed feeling fine. While you sleep, gravity does its work. Those slightly congested sinuses drain regularly into the back of your throat. In the morning, a thick buildup awaits you. That heavy sensation, the immediate need to clear your throat before your first sip of tea. Many people rush to the pharmacy for antihistamines, assuming they have allergies. Here's the problem. Antihistamines temporarily dry out mucus without treating the underlying inflammation, and dried thickened mucus is often more uncomfortable than the original problem. The approach with the strongest scientific backing is daily nasal rinsing with warm salt water. The European Position Paper on Rhinosinusitis, one of the most authoritative documents in this field, gives nasal saline irrigation a grade A level of evidence. A 2025 systematic review published in the journal Medicine confirmed that nasal irrigation is effective, safe, and low cost for reducing postnasal drip. The key word? Consistency. Every day, not just occasionally. Have you ever tried nasal rinsing? Let me know in the comments. Your experience could encourage someone else watching right now. 3. Medication-induced mucus. The cause no one suspects. This third cause genuinely surprises people because when a patient thinks about their throat, their daily prescriptions simply don't make the suspect list. Yet, in many older adults, certain widely prescribed medications directly contribute to persistent throat symptoms. The best documented example is a class of blood pressure medications called ACE inhibitors, angiotensin-converting enzyme inhibitors. These drugs are widely prescribed and generally well tolerated, but they have a recognized side effect: a dry, irritated throat and a constant urge to clear it. The mechanism is well established. CE inhibitors allow a substance called bradykinin to accumulate in the body. In sensitive individuals, this buildup triggers throat irritation. It's not an allergic reaction, it's a pharmacological effect. How common is it? Research published in the journal Chest and confirmed by multiple studies reports this side effect in about 5 to 20% of users. A large study of over 27,000 patients showed that adults over 65 had a 53% higher risk of developing it compared to younger users, making this particularly relevant for our audience. Here's the timing detail that makes the connection easy to miss. This side effect doesn't always appear right away. It can develop weeks or even months after starting the medication. So if you began a blood pressure drug 6 months ago and your throat has been bothering you since, the two might seem unrelated. Often they're not. Again, I'm not telling you to stop any medication, but if you're taking a blood pressure pill and your throat clearing started or worsened around the time you began it, this is a conversation worth having with your prescribing doctor. There are alternative classes like ARBs, angiotensin II receptor blockers, that lower blood pressure just as effectively without this side effect. If you're still with me, type the number 4 in the comments. I want to know who's paying close attention. 4. Dehydration and environmental irritants. The silent team. The fourth cause is actually two factors working together. And together, they hit harder than either one alone. The first is inadequate hydration. It sounds almost too simple, but the science is compelling. Think of mucus like honey. Warm honey flows, cold honey is thick and slow. It's the same substance, only the surrounding hydration changes its behavior. Your mucus works the same way. Well hydrated, it's fluid and easy to clear. Dehydrated, it becomes sticky and stagnant. Here's the age-specific problem. Research has clearly established that the thirst mechanism becomes less sensitive with age. You can be dehydrated enough to thicken your mucus without ever feeling thirsty. Waiting to drink until you're thirsty is a trap. It means you may be living in a state of mild chronic dehydration without even realizing it. A practical target cited in clinical nutrition guidelines is about 30 milliliters of fluid per kilogram of body weight per day. From all sources: water, herbal tea, soup, and water-rich fruits and vegetables. The behavioral shift? Drink intentionally, not reactively. The second factor is environmental. Dry, heated indoor air in winter sucks moisture from your respiratory mucous membranes. Wood smoke, fumes from strong cleaning products, traffic pollution, scented candles, and drying air conditioning all create low-level chronic irritation that keeps mucus production stuck in on mode. These aren't dramatic triggers. They're invisible, constant, cumulative background factors, which is precisely why they go unnoticed. Warning signs that require a doctor, not self-management. Before I give you the action plan, I want to be honest about certain signs that go beyond simple mucus issues. See your doctor promptly if you notice. Mucus regularly tinged with blood, even in small amounts. Unexplained weight loss accompanying your throat symptoms. Progressive difficulty swallowing. A persistent lump or swelling in the neck, or a major voice change that doesn't improve. The vast majority of persistent throat mucus cases in older adults are benign and correctable. Exactly what we're discussing today. But sometimes your body uses symptoms to signal something that requires professional attention. Don't manage these signs alone. See your doctor. Margaret's story. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Margaret. Margaret was 68, a retired elementary school teacher. She'd taught second grade for over 30 years. She came to see me with one complaint that had taken over her life: constant throat clearing. It had been going on for nearly 2 years. She told me she cleared her throat so often during family meals that her grandchildren had started mimicking her. She'd seen 3 different professionals. Each had given her some version of "it's just your age" or "it's probably allergies." She brought me her medication list. At the top, a blood pressure drug she'd started 18 months earlier. The timeline matched perfectly. Her throat clearing had begun about a month after starting the medication. We also talked about her sleep position, her dinner time, and her water intake. She admitted she rarely felt thirsty and probably drank only 2 small glasses of water a day. I sent her back to her prescribing doctor with specific questions. Her doctor switched her to a different class of blood pressure medication. She started drinking warm water in the morning, elevated the head of her bed by about 5 centimeters, and stopped eating after 7 p.m. In 6 weeks, her throat clearing decreased by nearly 80%. She came back to see me and said, "Dr. C, my granddaughter told me yesterday that she missed my little throat clearing noise." We both laughed. Then she added softly, "I spent 2 years believing my body had given up on me. It hadn't. It was just that no one had taken the time to listen." That moment has never left me. Your step-by-step action plan. Here's exactly what to do after this video. Stop eating at least 3 hours before bed. When you lie down with the stomach still digesting, gravity stops protecting you. 3 hours upright after your last meal gives your body a major advantage against silent reflux. Elevate the head of your bed by a few centimeters. Use a firm wedge or place something under the bed's headboard legs. Not just an extra pillow, that only bends your neck. Even a slight incline uses gravity to keep stomach contents in place overnight. Drink 1 or 2 glasses of warm water as soon as you wake up, before coffee, before breakfast, before medications. This simple habit rehydrates your body after the night's fast and immediately starts thinning the accumulated mucus. It's regularly one of the most effective changes reported by patients. Start daily nasal rinsing with warm salt water. Use a neti pot or a squeeze bottle from the pharmacy. Use previously boiled, then cooled water at a comfortable warm temperature. Never tap water directly. Add a small pinch of salt, and if you like, a tiny pinch of baking soda once a day, ideally in the morning. Give it at least a few weeks of consistent practice before judging the results. Schedule an appointment with your doctor for a medication review. Bring your complete list of prescriptions and the timeline of when your throat symptoms began. If you're taking a blood pressure medication, specifically ask if it's an ACE inhibitor and whether an alternative might suit you better. Never stop anything on your own. Just ask the question. Hydrate intentionally throughout the day. Don't wait to feel thirsty. Set reminders. Keep water visible where you spend the most time. Favor small, regular sips over large amounts all at once. Reduce environmental irritants in your home. Use a humidifier in winter. Avoid heavily scented candles. Switch to fragrance-free cleaning products. And air out rooms after using strong chemicals. Small changes, big cumulative impact. A quick word on folk remedies. Honey has real soothing properties. It's not harmful and can temporarily calm symptoms, but it doesn't address the underlying cause. Dairy doesn't create mucus out of thin air. Science doesn't support this old belief. But in some people, dairy proteins can make existing mucus feel thicker. A 2 to 3 week elimination trial is worth trying if you're unsure. Sugar in hot drinks can actually pull moisture out of your throat tissues through osmosis. So plain warm water or warm water with a squeeze of lemon, no sugar, remains the best choice. What I want you to remember today: that persistent mucus in your throat is not something you have to accept as a normal part of aging. It's a signal. And now you have a research-backed framework to understand what that signal might be trying to tell you, as well as a step-by-step plan to address it. Silent reflux acting discreetly while you sleep, with no heartburn to alert you. Post-nasal drip from subtle sinus inflammation. Medication-induced throat irritation, now documented in thousands of patients in peer-reviewed studies. The background pressure of inadequate hydration and environmental irritants working silently against you. None of these causes sentence you to a life of constant throat clearing. Each has a concrete, evidence-based solution, and none require a prescription to start addressing. If someone has ever told you, it's just your age, I hope this video has given you a completely different perspective. Because you deserve better than dismissal. You deserve an explanation. Your age is not a weakness. Your knowledge is your power. And the moment you understand what your body is really trying to tell you, you stop being a passive passenger and take back the wheel. Final notes. Everything I've shared today is general health information based on 13 years of clinical experience and published medical research. Every situation is unique. Before making any decisions about your health, especially regarding medications, consult your own doctor. If this video helped you or a loved one, share it. That simple act could save someone else from spending years not being taken seriously. Subscribe to Dr. Adam Sayeh's channel for more honest insights on senior health, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Take care, stay informed. See you in the next video.